Going on to you, Capricorn. So look, this is going to be one of the longest videos that I've ever done on my channel, so please make sure to stay tuned for that. So the first half of this, I'm gonna say the first half, but the first portion of this is actually the tarot reading, like I'm gonna go ahead and give you now. But also the second portion is about karma, right? Because there was a huge discussion going on in the comment section, which I love, right? As long as it's respectful. Y'all are not going in, sabotaging, trying to attack each other. But I essentially was talking about karma in the second part of this video and really putting it to bed and talking about what it is and what it's not. But other than that, that's pretty much it. There's a link in the comment section below called a Linktree link. Click on it. It will redirect you to a website which has all the ways for you to financially support the channel. So I can most definitely keep the channel going, from the books that I have that are on Amazon, private tarot readings, birth chart readings. I also teach people to do the tarot. And a lot of people ask me, well, is this compatible with this? Come through and get zodiac sign relationship advice, so I can be able to actually help you out with that, to understand what is compatible, what and why. Okay. All right. So for you Capricorns, you have the Knight of Pentacles, the Justice, and you have the Page of Cups. This is the gold tarot. Okay. If I can find it, I'll put it up in the product section somewhere around here, the gold tarot. And mind you, I don't necessarily make commission on all of these. So some of these, I'm just showing it to you for free. Like the Mermaid Tarot, I show it to you and I get absolutely no commission whatsoever. So that's how sincere I am with this thing, okay? So for you Capricorns, I'm seeing that a lot of you Capricorns are making progress, and the Page of Cups represents a lot of people don't like the fact that you're making progress, okay? And what I mean by that is, yes, a lot of you Capricorns are still running into knuckleheads that all it is that they want to do is get on your nerves, stress you out, and all this other type of stuff. Personally, I would suggest you Capricorns to leave those people alone. You know, if you don't have to necessarily interact with these people on your job or in your family or whatever the case may be, and even on your family is debatable whether you know, because you still have a choice. You could still choose to avoid those people. But unless they're on your job or something like this, you know, finances, you want to have a job or stuff like this, you know, I would suggest you leave them alone. Okay, these could be exes. These could be most definitely exes coming back. Ex is still in the way, still trying to get all up in your business, trying to find out what it is that you Capricorns are doing, trying to sabotage you moving forward. Because people do that. Okay, people do that. Once again, I would suggest you take your presence out of it. The Justice represents whatever kind of divisiveness that others have. Leave them up to their own devices. You hear about people will say things like leave them up to their own devices, meaning that let them be however it is that they're going to be by themselves. Don't hang around them yourself. Stay away from them and let them fall into their own tricks and traps of what they've got going on. Let their life be their own judgment. You know? They will get paid in full for the stupid stuff that they've been doing, because the way that they think and the way that they operate is real dysfunctional. And on top of that, it's delusional. Page of Cups, it's purely delusional, you know. But then you have the Five of Swords, and the Five of Swords now represents how, you know, once again, the King of Cups, the Page of Cups represents the delusion. You know, they have it all up in their head, this delusion, this what, blah, 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 blah. Five of Swords, you know, they think that, you know, those exes or those people who delude themselves into thinking that they're so valuable. And more often times than not, these are people who desperately need you around as their spiritual protection, as their physical protection, you know. as their beacon light for advancement and progress and the future, because a lot of people don't really have a future. And I may have to really step up and actually do that video, right? Talking about what it's like to actually swap fortunes with another person. Because when it happens, it's a real ugly situation when you swap your fortunes with another person. But then you have the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords represents you, Capricorns, choosing not to have these people around you. It's really breaking their hearts, because like it is, I said before, when you were around them, whether it's job, whether it's family members, you know, especially romantically, your energy and their energy were blending in a way that just was different from just platonic relationships or family ships. It hit different. But these people didn't want to act like they had any kind of common sense, right? They didn't want to act like they had any kind of common sense. So you, Capricorns, was like, okay, you out. That's what the justice is about. You're making it a point, just like I am, to stay away from the Ray Rays, the Pookies, the Keishas, the dysfunctional individuals, the people that, I don't know, yo, on the short yellow bus, the window lickers, stupid, the the people who they're in delusional, they're delulu, as people say, severely. All of this that they think about is like, all they think about is trying to apply pressure, stress people out. And it's like they think of this type of stupidity is cute. And the Three of Swords represents now you're making their hearts break. All your people from the past that thought like this, making their hearts break. Because you Capricorns are not putting up with this crap. You're not. And that's where the stupidity is on their part. You Capricorns are not putting up with this. You left. And the Three of Swords is their heartbreak, because now they know these exes, okay, these family members, all the people that you've left alone, all the people that you've left in the dust, now they know, don't act stupid, otherwise you Capricorns can get gone. And not in a violent way per se. You Capricorns can get gone in the sense of you'll dip. You ain't got to be around them. The Eight of Wands represents, once again, wealth. The Eight of Wands, you Capricorns have so much to do with, without having to have some dysfunctional individual in your way, stressing you out every time, trying to get on your nerves, because eights are wealth cards, Scorpio. 8 are wealth cards, right? They're not just a moment of truth where you Capricorns are actually, coming to terms with situations and being very truthful with oneself. The 8 cards are also cards of like transparency with self and actually being honest about what you want and what you need, and not allowing other people to gaslight you, because that's one thing that a lot of people, especially in this society, I've been gaslit so much. People will be over here talk about how it is and I'm attracting these individuals in my life, and it's part of your karma. And it's like, how is it a part of my karma if I am staying away from the goofies? And they can't seem to answer that question. They always lead with some sort of mystical, hocus pocus, some sort of superstition. Oh, you're bringing them to you. It's like, once again, I'm staying away from them. The universe does not work like that. And anybody who's talking about, well, you're just attracting it, you're just getting it, in your life or whatnot. It's like, no, the problem is people don't want to admit the sheer numbers of people who are intellectually dishonest outnumber, or seemingly outnumbers, the people who are intellectually honest. Tell the truth to shame the devil and stop playing. That's what it is. Because good people still meet dysfunctional, messed up individuals no matter how good they're doing. Stop playing. You just want to give an excuse so that you can continue to be dysfunctional. But this is what it is that I keep saying. But the intellectual dishonesty is why it is that people are not supposed to get functional relationships. You still have the majority of the population still not willing to actually be open and honest and to have an open and honest dialogue. These generations are done for, because you still have grown folks teaching their children this, teaching their children to be intellectually dishonest, when intellectual honesty is what it is that we gonna need to carry us successfully into the future. And how we actually solve that problem of why people can't get with others. Other people can't get with others due to the fact that you have so many people trying to be on some hypergamy stuff, trying to date upward. And so many people are trying to date upward, and for the wrong reasons. They're not trying to date upward based upon they get with somebody that's underrated. They're looking for personality. They're looking for character. They're looking for an individual that will do right by them, that will inspire them to do better, that will accept them who they are now, and vice versa. No, they're looking for the BBD, the bigger, better deal. It's an individual that needs to have more money. It's all about more money, more looks, more fame, making everybody around you jealous. The person who has a huge jet has to have an even, you got to go out and buy an even bigger jet. And it's like, yo, we don't have jets. We don't have jets. That's the politics or the inner workings of jets and how to actually go about getting one is something that needs to be studied, just like real estate, just like having assets. Those are things that need to be studied. And people who do not know and have no experience in them, how are you going to know how the world operates, how things actually happen, so you could take advantage of the situation and flip the game to what you want it to be and control your own destiny with that. But then we still talking about we need to date up and spending other people's money, and it's stupid. It's window licking stuff. How you think something is, the Eight of Wands. How a person, Capricorn, how other people perceive something is on the outside when they don't have the knowledge and the experience versus how something actually is on the inside of it, right? When you're on the inside, you have knowledge and you have the experience. It's totally different. It's crazy. And the Eight of Wands represents, that's why it is that you Capricorns were right to leave them alone. If you had any kind of doubt, you were right to leave them alone, because it's some real dysfunctional stuff. You were right to leave them alone. The Tower and the Page of Swords is about how the Tower represents how, and it comes suddenly as well. Page of Swords. You're going to have some people, that's going to come back. That's sudden. That's out of the blue. That's going to be upset with you, contact you, hit you back up. That's going to let it be known and have issues with you. But all this is going to do, Capricorn, is show you that what this should show you is that you Capricorns were right for leaving these individuals alone. You were right about leaving them alone. Because look at the immature, stupid, dysfunctional, parasitic stuff that they're doing. Look at the window licking stuff that they're doing. You Capricorns are over here doing your thing. Here it is that they go. They got to show up and tell you how much it is that they don't like you. Why they disapprove of what it is that you're doing. I'm going to tell you what it is that you Capricorns did. You Capricorns broke free. You stood up straight and got this monkey off your back. The monkey being the dysfunctional people. It's a metaphor. The dysfunctional people and the stupid situations that they put on you. Like, look, you could be cool with somebody, but you got to be cool with them, or not necessarily have anything against them, but you got to not have anything against them, right, from a distance. You can't be so up close and personal with dysfunctional people like that. You can't. And then you have the Knight of Cups and the Three of Pentacles. So the Knight of Cups and the Three of Pentacles, okay, for you Capricorns, right? It's all about how a lot of you ultimately, eventually though, whenever it is that they come through, guess what you do? You block them and you keep it pushing. You do not, if you want things to go as easy as possible, you do not return. You do not say anything to them. Don't. You know why? Because when you say something to them, oh, trash. Here we go again. Now they're going to start to try to put more stress onto you, be on some stupid stuff. And the Three of Pentacles, you're supposed to have no time for this. They think the way that a lot of these dysfunctional people think, they're so attention starved and parasitic. There's no amount of attention that's enough attention because they caught up with it. Any amount of attention is good enough attention. How can we show and prove that? Because we could show and prove that because it's never enough. So let's clarify some of these cards. And to them, any attention is good attention, including when you are upset with them. They still think, oh, you still getting bothered by me. This is the mentality of a warped individual. So let's clarify the Tower. Hermit. Ooh, Emperor. Six of Cups. I told y'all that it's going to be X's. I told y'all. I did not shuffle these cards up to make it that. On my honor. I did not shuffle up these cards. On my honor. Page of Swords. The Tower. Okay. I still draw 4 others, so it is what it is. So anyway, the Hermit, the Emperor, the Six of Cups. The Hermit and the Emperor is about you, Capricorns, once again, finding out things about yourselves, learning about yourself, doing your own thing, not trying to stress the situation, not stressing it at all, doing the very thing that you Capricorns learn and you're supposed to learn, which are soft skills. Letting things go when it's time for you to let things go. Because Capricorn, y'all could be very persistent. That's something that Capricorns learn along the way, is to not give up on their endeavors, to not give up on their dreams. But a lot of the times you Capricorns have to understand that, you have to pick your battles in the sense that you have to pay attention to what it is that you choose not to give up on. Sometimes when it comes to certain things and certain elements, you should give up on it. You should give up on people that's trying to stress you out. You having a conversation with them, they want to continue to act like they're slow. You give up on them. Again, you're not their Lord and Savior. You're not supposed to be. So the Hermit and the Emperor is about how you Capricorns have, y'all are the emperors. Y'all have way more influence over your own life. You have control over your own destiny, and that's one of the ways in which we can control our own destiny, is when we leave alone these weirdos that just want to be around us all the time, drain our energy, get us upset. So you have options. You have the space in your life to actually meet brand new people and do whatever else you want to do for that matter. The Six of Cups, you already know. individuals coming in from the past, reaching back out like I said I would before we ever drew the Six of Cups, because I just know I'm able to understand. That's how well I know the tarot. That's how well I understand my own cards. That's how well I read, and I'm getting better. I choose to get better. I understand when we're going to get the Six of Cups, real talk, without even having to shuffle, you know what I'm saying, without having to manipulate the deck in order to do so. I just shuffle for real, fairly, and still get the Six of Cups. Why? Because the Six of Cups energy, even though it doesn't show up, the Six of Cups energy will still be stamped onto the reading here, even if the Six of Cups didn't actually directly show up. So I know I'm gonna get it later. It's no thing. And these exes are coming back to you, like I said, but don't pay attention to them, because that's their way of testing you to see if you're still emotionally involved with them. But you have to divorce the situation. You have to be divorced from whatever kind of mind games they decide that they want to put you up to. They weirdos. The Page of Swords now represents, so the situation for you is, the next step for you is for you to not look to be combative or save, or you're going to have some people that's going to contact you, Scorpio. Excuse me, not Scorpio. You're going to have some people, I'm thinking a Scorpio, could be a Scorpio, but you're going to have some people that could contact you, Capricorns. Don't you get so caught up with trying to get back at them whatsoever or talk to them. No matter what it is that they say, Capricorn, stay away from them, stay quiet, keep moving forward. Peace. Oh, smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, hit the notification bell, set that notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop my videos. I just want to say thank you to all the zodiac signs that have been blowing me up. You hit the like button. Make sure that this video gets at least 100 likes. I really would like 1,000 likes and at least 1,000 views. All right. So I felt compelled to actually go ahead and handle my business when it comes to this. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about karmic cycles. You know, there seems to be this huge debate, quote unquote, this debate about if karma exists or not. And oh my gosh, do I have a very long video for y'all. So, you know, if y'all don't like education, if y'all don't like learning something, then I don't know what to tell y'all. Look, I decided to put it in the Capricorn video because the biggest discussion was with the whole Capricorn video, right? So look, there is no such thing as karma. There is no such thing as karmic cycles. Okay? What it is that you've got going on is you just have to learn from your mistakes. Now, right? We're going to get into this, and I'm going to explain to you what I'm talking about, but you can obviously go do the research yourself, give you more information. So here we go. The 7 Hermetic Principles. Now, the 7 Hermetic Principles are immutable laws of nature. Basically, it's how the universe is governed. So in other words, everything. When I say universe is governed, I'm talking about the way all forms of existence is governed around, and there is no exception to that. So you have mentalism, correspondence, and we're going sequentially from 1 to 7. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, gender, right? Now, we're not going to touch the 7th one because that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to even touch the 7th one, right? We're just going to stick to these 6. So mentalism represents what? All is mind. The universe is mental, meaning that you have to learn to change your perspective. Boom. From mentalism right then and there, it proves right then and there that there's no such thing as karma. Because it's basically, it's saying that what it is that most people perceive karma to be is all a delusion or a fabric of their imagination that they can manipulate and control. Boom, right then and there. It pretty much destroys the idea of karma and karmic cycles right then and there. Then you have correspondence. So correspondence is as above, so below, right? You can see it here. As above, so below. And what that means is there's a relationship with everything. Okay? That's what correspondence represents, relationships. See, a lot of times when people talk about relationships, a lot of times people talk about relationships from a perspective of only romantic relationships, right? Only relationships when the two of you are getting busy. You know, you're not talking about the relationship between, you know, the air or the wind that's breezing by and trees. You in relationship to nature. You in relationship to the economic system. You know, we're not talking about that stuff most of the times. But believe it or not, everything has a correspondence. Remember, these are immutable laws. These are principles because these are laws that are immutable. They govern the very fabric of how the entire existence and the universe works. So you cannot change that. These are laws. So everything in the universe has a relationship with one another. That's the reason why it is that it says that everything is 6 degrees of separation. Boom. Dispels karma and karmic cycles. Yet again, why is that? Because as above, so below. Meaning that, and to carry off the back of mentalism, meaning that your emotion has you overly invested in the ideology, the false idea, mentalism, right? That there is a such thing as karma. So as above, so below, right? So, which is i.e. correspondence. So even though there is no such thing as karma and karmic cycles, because mentalism, to you there is a such thing as karmic cycles, you get emotional about it, correspondence, so below, internally, so below. So what happens? As above, you start treating people in relationship to your false ideology, mentalism, that there's a such thing as karma. Then you get down to vibration. Everything moves, nothing is at rest. Boom, yet again. Because what vibration is telling you is everybody has good times, everybody has bad times. Good things happen to bad people, bad things happen to good people. Just as bad things happen to bad people, good things happen to good people. It's not discriminatory. Everything goes up, everything goes down. Vibration, movement. You could be sitting on the front porch, and no matter how good something's going, there will be an event that creates entropy or disruption that will disrupt that benevolence of what it is that you're doing, right? To what most people call falling on hard times, or things are being hard for you right now. Vibration. Everything does not stagnate. Nothing stagnates. So just because you're having a good time does not necessarily mean that you always have a good time. See, what I'm trying to get y'all to understand is that a lot of y'all mentality, your mentality is an organized religiosity mentality based upon moralism and based upon ignorance and superstition is what I'm trying to say. The universe is not governed around morality, superstition. The universe is not governed around those things. The universe is governed around knowledge, and knowledge, what you do with that knowledge, and intent. That's the way that the universe is governed. It's not governed around morality. And I can show and prove that. Okay? So, and that's exactly what it is I'm showing and proving. Then you have polarity. All things are opposites. All things are dual. All opposites are reconciled, meaning that what is good, there's bad in it. What is bad, there's good in it. I.e., if everything is too good for you, you become a spoiled brat. And you don't have a reason to exist. So you fade out of existence. But then at the other hand, if everything is too bad, there's no point of existing either, because you're not here to be put as a whipping board. You are alive. You have equity. Okay? Then you have rhythm. The ebb and flow pervade the all, right? Ebb and flow, rhythm. That's the same up and down. What comes up must come down. You may be able to defy that law for a certain period of time, but it is a law that pervades anyway. What goes up must come down, meaning that what goes up, meaning all your sky-dwelling animals, birds, any animal that can fly, even planes, it starts on the ground, it goes up in the air, it lands right back down, hopefully safely, right? So that in on itself explains rhythm, right? Same thing goes when it comes to karmic cycles. Just because things are good in your life, right? When it comes to quote unquote karmic cycles or whatever the case may be, there's no such thing because you've created your life to become a living nightmare due to the fact that you don't want to learn from your lesson, that you and this person do not mix well together. So you're going to continue to go through this nonsense until you learn your lesson that you and this person does not mix together. See, the reason why it is that you're not learning from this is because of ego and because of confusion. You don't necessarily know what happened, which causes you to ruminate because you want to find the answer to that situation. So you end up getting stuck due to the fact that you want to find out what it is that you do not know, right? And ego, you want to have this control, which is a farce in on itself. This idea of you controlling another person and whatnot. There is no such thing as this idea of controlling another person. There's the idea of having control over yourself. But the idea of controlling another person or an animal, like let's just say you have pets and all of that, you don't control your pets. My dog is a very smart dog or whatnot. I love her, take her for a walk. I take good care of her. But do I have 100% control over her? Oh, absolutely not. And that's exactly how it is that I want her. I don't want to have 100% control over her. Why? Because I'm not trying to break the spirit of my dog. Okay? I'm just trying to get my dog to be on my side or on our side, right? That we share together because I love my dog, but I'm not trying to break my dog's spirit. And then last but not least that we're going to cover for the 7 Hermetic principles, we're only going to go up to 6, cause and effect. Everything happens according to law, karma and dharma. What does it mean? What does it mean? Right? So in other words, what does it mean? And we're going to dispel some of this stuff here too, right? Scratch the karma and the dharma thing because we're defining karma, right? Cause and effect basically means that whatever it is that you decide and carry through is whatever happens to you. So in other words, the effect is you and this person can't seem to actually go well together. That's the effect. That's the symptom, right? What's the cause of the symptom? What's the cause of the effect of the two of you not being able to get along with one another? The cause is the value system. Your value system and their value systems are two different things. You may want a loving, non-transactional relationship. They want money. See, it's a different value system. So now you sitting up there asking yourself or telling yourself, oh my
gosh, I'm in a particular situation where it's like, oh, I'm in a karmic cycle or whatnot. No, there is no such thing as karma. You keep going through these messed up relationships with this particular person because you refuse to learn your lesson to stop associating yourself with them. This is the very same thing that a lot of people end up hitting metaphorically, end up hitting their head up against this wall or bumping their head up against this wall, and their ego gets involved. This is why it is that you see a lot of TikTok, a lot of people sitting up on TikTok crying their eyes out, talking about, why can't I find someone that's good for me? Because you keep going after the people by definition who are not looking for that, stupid. So what do you expect, stupid? Your vibration, what you're on, what you want is different from what they want. So what are you complaining about? Because their ego and their confusion, they are confused about letting go. And their ego, I have to control the situation, right? And then when it comes to karma on another level, people will have you thinking to yourself, oh, karma or dharma down here is some stuff that it says something like, oh, karma or dharma is something like, oh, what most people try to make it sound is, you done did something in a previous life and you paying for it now. Cap. Show and prove that it's cap. Because you want to know what can also be considered another life, quote unquote, and I have to put quotations around the concept of another life. And you can ask any yogi this. You can ask anybody who has this type of knowledge. If they tell you no, that's not what it is, they're lying to you. Show and prove. You want to know what it is that people can say is also classified as a different life? What you were like when you were younger. That's another aspect when people say, like the figure of speech, when they go in another life, maybe what they're trying to say is, yes, potentially, if you reincarnate, maybe the two of you can be together, but that has absolutely nothing to do with karma. That's an agreement that the two of you have made willingly to transition, come back down here and reincarnate. But that's not necessarily karmic, because karma, as what most people consider that to be, is in essence not even really karma, because it's just cause and effect. You can't be so upset when something doesn't necessarily go your way, when you fail to prepare, or you're not necessarily on the level to actually achieve what it is that you're going after. And all of the actions that you are taking are self-sabotaging. Of course you're going to fail. Of course you're going to fail. Right? Of course you will fail. You're not properly prepared. Right? But another form of another life that a lot of these people don't put you onto enough information, because they're always trying to trick and trap you, is this idea of another life. The idea of another life can also represent your childhood, or what you were like when you were younger. That can also be classified as another life. Oh, when you are a child, then when you are an adult or whatnot, then some people may ask you, who are in the know, what were you like in another life? Meaning when you were a child, when you were younger, when you were a teenager. Right? So you have to get off of this concept of karma. Karma just means we as people are not learning from our lessons, and our ego is getting the best of us. And we need to stop being hard-headed and get on a level where we can adapt and get over ourselves by getting over our ego. We are very We are very egocentric creatures. We are very egocentric animals, very egocentric species, organisms, very egocentric. And we have to learn to get over ourselves in order to, quote unquote, break the karmic cycles. Okay? Because what happens when you start to do things when your mind and your heart are in the correct place and you're not weighed down so emotionally, right? And you become the fool, a person who is not weighed down by their emotions and this ideology that you have to save everybody in karma. What happens? You become freed from karma, because if a person, metaphorically speaking, is about to walk off of a cliff and you tell them, right, because they're blind, and you tell them, hey, you're about to walk off of a cliff, I'm just letting you know that, turn around, and they say no, and unfortunately they walk off. Is the responsibility on you? Is the karma on you? No. Why is that? Because you told them. So if karma was this real thing, come on now, people. If karma was this real thing, if this was an immutable law, how can you free yourself from karma? How is it possible that you can even free yourself from karma? The answer is karma is a nothing but a figment of your own imagination. It is a form of a delusion. Which brings me to my next point. Everybody is so afraid of this image. You're scared of a goat picture. Everybody is so afraid of this Baphomet, right? Everybody is so afraid of this. Whenever it is that the real occultists, the people who really know what it is that they're doing, they look at this, they don't necessarily worship this, okay? But they understand the symbols of what this stuff actually means, okay? First and foremost, what Solve Gogula means is joining the energies together, creating families. That's what it means in Latin. Solve et Gogula. The writings on their arm, or on this Baphomet's arm. You can't see it on this one, the right hand, but Gogula, right? Creating a family, right? Bringing two together, creating a family. That's what it means. If you don't believe me, go look it up. Okay? So how can that be bad? See, this is the misconception and the superstition of the person who doesn't know what it is that they're talking about, who believes in the delusion of the underworld. You going to HE double hockey sticks. You going to that place. You boga. You going there. Oh, you cursed. All this goofy stuff that's factually incorrect. Show and prove. To burn, right? Because so many people are talking about how it is that you scared to burn, all this goofy, superstitious stuff. I keep telling y'all got to get off of the religion. It's rotten in your brain, and we're going to prove it. To burn, to be on fire, consumed by fire, to be inflamed with passion or desire. Right? Okay, now let's look up the soul. Okay, let's look up the soul. The soul, because they say that, whenever it is that you make the transition, your soul gonna go to such and such. Okay, let's look up the definition of soul. The sun, sunlight, the sun, right? So if the only thing that's gonna happen to you when you make the transition from physically having a body to making the transition, now you in a particular place where now you done let go of the body, You sitting up there talking about how it is that you scared to go to the underworld or whatever the case may be or whatnot, which you're not going to go there, but you scared to go to the underworld and all this other type of crap, right? What am I saying? I'm saying in order to burn, you need to have a physical body in order to apply burning. But when you make the transition, you don't have a body in order to begin with. And on top of that, your soul, the soul that so many people keep talking about, the soul or whatnot, is fire. I just read it. It's the sun. It's the sun. So how in the world, disproving this karma thing once and for all, how in the world are you gonna go to this place where you disembodied? You don't have a body, basically, okay? And your soul, by definition, is fire. Amongst fire, and you gonna burn. If y'all don't knock it off. See, the reason why it is that y'all so scared and the whole dogma of right and wrong, karmic cycles, is because, and no disrespect, but some of you are uneducated about this type of topic. And this is part of the reason why it is that I'm here, to educate some of y'all without having to be disrespectful. It's just that the concept of this superstition is just strong with y'all. Y'all just, you know. So anyway, let's break this down. Let's break this down. So look, right? Let's look. And I specifically chose the red one. So red is the color of activation. Red is how most babies are born anyway, from the mother's blood. But also, if you ever pay attention, most children, okay, are born red anyway. Or I should say a lot of them to be, anyway, I'm not going to go ahead and show that. But look, the point is, most children are born red anyway. So the red only is reminiscent, of the sacral chakra, the root chakra. That's what the red represents. The red represents passion. And the reason why this picture is colored in red is to show that we as a species are not, we are not singular cell organisms, meaning that we are not organisms that multiply just on our own. We multiply based upon joining energies in that passionate fun, if you catch my drift. And then you have the Baphomet in right here in Latin, solve et cogula, which is, in essence, let me go ahead and show it to you. In essence, it means create a family. Let me break it down to you. Solve et, let me show it to you. Solve, I wish I could bring this up. But anyway, right over here. Hold on, let me see if I could bring this up. Solve et cogula. Same thing that's on the Baphomet's arm. Same thing. Which is what? The principle of alchemy, to dissolve materials to their constituents and to reassemble into something else. So you go from being singular people to now conjoining. That's a whole other different substance, right? The relationships, which is what most people are trying to get into. Then 1 + 1 = 3. Why? In that regard. Why? Because 1 + 1 = 2. Y'all join together. You know what I mean? Like peanut butter and chocolate. What happens? The next thing you know, boom, y'all have a child. Right? Which is what? to create a family. So this is what's written basically on Baphomet's arm, in essence, the principle, meaning you could do this with anything. But most people want to get into the relationship type stuff, right? Then, like it is, I said before, children are usually born what? Red, a very reddish hue. Why? Because they are passing through the root chakra, right? So these are all symbols, okay? Then you have the hooves at the bottom. What does the hooves represent down here? The hooves represent your connection to your animalistic basic instincts, your carnal instincts. Food, your survival instincts. Food, reproduction, shelter over your head, the ability to defend yourself. These are carnal instincts. Something that you cannot negate, because so many people are caught up with superstition and the ideology that you going to HE double hockey sticks if you defend yourself against an attacker. No, that's what you're supposed to be doing, because everything is born with the survival mechanism. Do you know what happens to you if you do not? How many of you know that aggression is directly linked to a healthy libido? Some of the most aggressive people in the world are often some of the most active libidos in the world. Why? Because aggression and the desire for reproduction, the basic instincts, are tied to one another. So is your heartbeat, all in the back of the head, called the brainstem, which is also connected to your heartbeat and also connected to your breath and the rhythm of your breath. So how in the world are you going to live if you get rid of your basic instincts? You can't. This ain't got anything. That principle doesn't have anything to do with ideology. It has nothing to do with indoctrination. It has nothing to do with religion. No disrespect. It has nothing to do with feelings, and not even real feelings, but the actual warped mentality. It has nothing to do with political games. It has nothing to do with intellectual dishonesty. That's what it is. It's a fact. To be alive means you have an active libido. If your libido is not active, that means by definition you cannot live. So there is no exception. You cannot separate those two things. So that's what the hooves represents. Then you have, the mother and the father conjoining, y'all already know, creates the families, y'all already know. Then you have the wings. The wings represent your ability to be weightless and to not be so tied down with the superstition, the other crap that people got going on, to be as weightless as you possibly can, because you understand that most of the stuff that people falsely believe and they think that they know are illusions. They are not based upon real, natural, hermetic, immutable principles like what it is that we went over here. Most of the stuff that people swear that they believe in are nothing but delusions. Remember, mentalism, all is the mind. You have to watch your belief systems, because your belief systems can be actually false. All is mind. And how you get out of your false belief systems is from education, knowledge, enlightenment. Knowledge, which is enlightenment. Knowledge. Then the application of knowledge, which is enlightenment. And then your intent. What do you plan to do now that you have power? Now that you know how the world and the universe works, your surroundings work, now that you know what your own relationship to your surroundings is, what can you do with your surroundings? Can you not necessarily 100% control it, but can you manipulate it? This is the thing. This is the very thing that people misconstrue as manipulation and control. They are not one and the same. They are different, slightly, but they are different nonetheless. Oh, but then at the same time, polarity, true polarities are actually often Christian Bale's shades of gray. Meaning what? Meaning that true polarities, true differences are actually things that often touch and interflow within one another. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that control and manipulation, yes, there is a commonality. There is a correspondence. There is a relationship between control and manipulation. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they are exactly the same thing. No, there is slight polarity between the two, which is true polarities. Minor differences. But those minor differences are actually distinct between the two. Because if you go into control, you're trying to Armstrong people. You start to try to manipulate other people, you're not controlling them. All right. So let's continue. Let's continue. This is why it is I say at the end of the day, everybody must give up the games. To be in the game means that you are trapped within a matrix, within a matrix, within a matrix, within a matrix, and you are at the lowest level. Yo, stupid behind thinking that you control something. What a joke. Control. What a joke. Trying to control other people in particular. What a joke. But then you have the goat's head. The goat, right? I.e. Capricorn. The goat, right? Is a symbol for wisdom and power and the ability, and the goat also is a symbol of immortality. Why? Because a goat can eat almost anything. Steel, tin cans, and all this other nonsense. Digest tin cans and all this other type of stuff, aluminum and all this crap. The goat wants to do better for themselves. The goat wants to learn. The goat is on an escalator. The goat is an individual, the greatest of all time. Right? Because what classifies a person as being great? A person that doesn't just do good at something, but does well, excels, is the exception. That is supernatural to what is commonly known as natural. You see the lower level people, the people that think in the box only, they don't know how to think in the box and outside of the box and make the box their own. All of this that they do is they are mechanical and they don't know how to make something work for themselves. As to where the extraordinary people are the people that have become something else. This is what Bruce Lee was talking about. They have become supernatural, which is factually correct. They are supernatural. Because they have studied something so good, so well, to the point where it is not natural anymore. It is not merely natural. It is not normal to be that. It is something which that still exists within nature, but it's something that is somewhat influencing nature, influencing the natural law that other lower level individuals have to always adhere to, as opposed with supernatural beings. They are individuals, people, right? Goats, greatest of all times. These are people that don't always adhere to the otherwise thought of as immutable laws of nature. And they can break it and defy it and then go right back to adhering to that same law. You got to know when to break the rules. There is no such thing as karma. Then you have the horns. And the horns represents, well, the horns are actually symbolic of your temporal lobes. The hippocampus. That creates the horns on your own head. We all have horns, right? These bumps on the top or on the sides of our heads. The The horns sit there because the horns represents they are actually connected to the hippocampus, but more so specifically, they are actually tied to the prefrontal cortex, or actually the forehead. Why? Because the forehead is the part of the brain that is responsible for cognitive function, planning, and having spiritual experiences. It is where the pineal sits. Why? Because they say the pineal is where the seat of the soul is. This is where you start to have your own supernatural and spirit and spiritual experiences. Where the horns are, the prefrontal cortex of the head, the forehead, which is where the horns are jutting out from. But we all have horns. Our horns, right, are the way that our skull is shaped. When you develop, okay, your prefrontal cortex, you begin to have different bumps around your head. Okay, all right. Then you have the what you call it, the I guess you could say this what you call it, this I don't know, this fire keeper. I don't know what it is that you specifically call it, but the fire is right on the top. What does this symbol represent? It represents your knowledge. It represents your brain lighting up, because when you are learning something new, something that you didn't know, when you are brainstorming, for that matter, right? Aquarius, when you are brainstorming, or when you are finding out something new, when you are gaining access to a new form of information, what happens? Your brain lights up underneath a CAT scan. Certain parts of your brain light up, specific colors and tones. Okay, so I just wanted to break down some of this stuff. This is what it is that most people would consider the devil. And then let's actually go a step further, because I want to show y'all something, to show y'all that a lot of y'all have been brainwashed and caught up in programming. I wanted to show you this image too, as kind of like a bonus piece of information. There you go, the red. I just broke down what the red means. Sometimes you'll see the devil, you know what I mean, with a pitchfork. The pitchfork means ultimate power. Let's actually do the research to that. The pitchfork means ultimate power. You know, the trident, or I should say the trident, or i.e. the pitchfork. The trident, right? The trident is held by what deity? Neptune or Poseidon. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that is the connection between the devil and Poseidon. Is there a connection? Is there a correspondence? Yes, there is. Because Satan or Lucifer is what? In the deep earth. Where does Poseidon, the deity of the sea, is? Deep in water, i.e. the deep earth. What does the trident symbolize? The trident symbolizes, right? The trident symbolizes, I'm trying to get to, the trident symbolizes marine deities such as Poseidon and Neptune, because the weapon was mostly commonly used for fishing. It symbolizes rebellion, but it also symbolizes power as well. Okay, this is the reason why it is that you have the deity Shiva that has the trident in his hand. There you go. Because Shiva is a deity of the deep waters, i.e. Scorpio. So is there a connection between Baphomet, aka Capricorn, and Scorpio? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And Virgo? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. So this would be classified as the devil too. Lord Shiva. So I'm just trying to tell y'all these things to break y'all out of the superstition of karmic cycles, what you think is evil. Because what a person falsely thinks is evil does not necessarily mean that that's the truth. To end things, right? I know I went on for a little bit, but to end things, okay? To end things, the way that the universe works, the way that the universe decides, the way that things are decided, what is truly evil versus what is not, is based upon knowledge, the application of knowledge, and intent. What do you know? Do you apply what you know? And what is your intent? So in other words, an example of true evil is if a person is trying to stop your potential. They're telling you, don't do this, don't do that. They don't explain to you why. They don't give you knowledge as to why. In other words, people trying to, waste your time, get you to be so caught up with them, pay them attention. They're not trying to date you like that based upon fear. Okay? And they know that, and they know that they are wasting your time. That is evil. That is actually evil. Why? Because they know that they're wasting your time. If you knew from the very beginning that they would waste your time, you wouldn't have given them much or at all any of your time, right? But you gave them your time because no one knows everything. So they are tricking you basically into you giving them some form of attention. Guess what? That is true evil. Why? Because they are wasting your time knowing that that's what it is that they're doing. Therefore, their decisions and where they end up in life, they got a butt whipping coming. Because they're supposed to ultimately, because their higher self knows that they're supposed to not do that. They're supposed to be trying to live up to their own and take care of their own affairs. Not try to control other people's time and try to lord over other people and be other people's God. What is an example of no evil? If I steal, if I go in your fridge or what have you, and I steal some yogurt. Why? Because at the end of the day, is it really causing you harm long term? Is it causing you that much harm? No, it's not. I'm just taking one pouch, I guess, or whatever, or one little bit, or whatever packaging it's in of yogurt. At the end of the day, right, as long as my intent behind it was not to see the look on your face when I do it, I'm not necessarily messed up. But if I'm doing it because I'm hungry, that is the intent behind it. Is it evil? No, it's the same thing as when people steal for food. They go to the market and they steal bread and they steal mangoes and bananas and grapes and all this other type of stuff, right? Cherries and all this other type of stuff. Can you say that they're evil? No, because they're stealing to survive. Let them have it. But moralism, specifically superstitious moralism, will have you thinking, right? Religious moralism will have you thinking stealing is not supposed to be, is not permitted. No, what they don't tell you is stealing is not permitted, or stealing is not good when you don't have to steal, which means the intent already is corrupt. So you got to get off this. You got to get off this superstition. You got to get off that, yo. I hope this clears up karmic cycles. There is no karmic cycles. All right. Got to get off.